Hey, good morning guys. Thank you for joining me here for this last video. We are talking about X and Y intercepts. And in these two questions, 20 and 21, we are looking at an equation in standard form. So when you're looking for the x-intercept when you have an equation, the process is the same. You're looking for your x value when y is 0. And so when we have our equation in standard form, I'm going to have 3x plus, but my y takes on the value of 0, and we have it equal to 6. So here we're really looking at 3x equals 6. Divide both sides by 3, and we're left with x equals 2. So my x-intercept is 2, not the 3 that a lot of you want to say. Next, we're looking for the y-intercept, so I'm going to come back to the same equation, but my x value is 0. 3 times anything, or 0 times anything is 0, so that goes away, and I'm just left with y equals 6, which means my y-intercept is 6. All right, go ahead and push pause, see if you can answer 21 on your own, or if you need help, I'll be here. So once again, we're looking for the x-intercept. The y takes on a value of 0, so I'm looking at 2x minus 8 times the y value of 0 is equal to negative 8. 0 times anything is 0, so this cancels out to just a big old 0, and 2x minus 0 is still 2x. So I'm really looking at 2x equals negative 8. Divide by 2, and I'm looking now, my x-intercept is negative 4. How'd you do? Now, y-intercept, so same idea, except now my x takes on a value of 0. So we have 2 times 0 minus 8. Y equals negative 8. Anything times 0, 0, it cancels out, so I'm looking at negative 8y equals negative 8. Divide both sides by negative 8, and we're looking at a positive 1 for the y-intercept. Hope you got them. All right, question 22 is a little different. Here we're finding the equation of a line that passes through the point negative 2, negative 5, and is parallel to the graph of y equals 3x minus 4. So because of the word parallel, we're looking for the same slope. So if I look at this equation, because it's the same slope of this equation, I see my slope is 3. I also see we're talking about our point. The point that we're using is negative 2, negative 5, which means we have an x value and a y value. Since we're given a point and a slope, we're going to use our point slope formula. You're going to have to know that. You're going to have to see, oh, I have a point, I have a slope. Let me use my point slope formula because it's not going to tell you, just like this one. So point slope says y minus the y value of our point, which is negative 5. So a minus negative turns into a plus. So we have y plus 5 is equal to our slope, which is 3, times x minus the x value of our point. In this case, it's a negative 2. So minus negative changes to a plus 2. This is our point slope formula. We're going to take it a step further. We're going to go ahead and distribute. So I have y plus 5 equals 3 times x would be 3x, and then 3 times 2 gives us a 6. We want the y isolated, so inverse operation, subtract the 5 from both sides, and we're left with y equals 3x plus 1 as our final answer. Number 23. This time we're writing an equation in slope-intercept form of a line that passes through the point 6, negative 3. So this is important. We want to make sure we keep that point. This is our x1 and our y1. And is perpendicular to the line. And now we also have, I don't see my slope right away. This is in standard form, so we have to do a little bit of work here. First thing I'm going to have to do in my slope is find the original slope. So first thing I'm going to have to do is solve for y. So we add the 4x to both sides. When we do that, we're left with 2y equals 4x plus 2, and then everything gets divided by 2. This leaves me with 1y equals 2x plus 1. Now we can use this to find our perpendicular slope. And so what I told my students to find your perpendicular slope is going to be -1 divided by our given slope, and this will give us our perpendicular slope. So -1 divided by a +2 becomes a -1/2. So I have my perpendicular slope, I have my point. I can go ahead now and use my point slope formula. So this is going to be y minus the y1 of our point, which is a -3. That minus negative turns into a plus. Not times. It's going to be equals, excuse that, -1/2. That's my perpendicular slope. Now it's times x minus the x coordinate of 6. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and write this in slope-intercept form. So I want to get my y isolated. The first step is going to be to distribute that perpendicular slope. So my y plus 3 is going to hold still for now. -1/2 times x would be -1/2 x. And then -1/2 times a -6 is a +3. Subtract 3 from both sides, and we see our 3's cancel each other out, leaving us with y equals -1/2 x, and that would be our final answer. All right, we're at the tail end. We have 2 more to go. Number 23, we're looking for an equation of a line that passes through the point 1, 2 and is parallel to the graph of x equals 4. So I have an x equals here. This is where you want to remember, oh, it's hoi vux. Hoi vux. Now, I have an x equals, which means I'm going to focus on vux. Vux has a vertical line, undefined slope, and it has the x equals. Because we're looking at that parallel is going to be the same slope. So because we have an x equals for undefined, I'm going to have an x equals for undefined. And then it's got to go through the point 1, 2. So I'm going to take the x coordinate 1, and that's my parallel line that passes through the point 1, 2 that is parallel to y x equals 4. 24 is somewhat similar. We're writing an equation to a line that passes through the point -3, 7. At this time, it's going to be perpendicular to the x-axis. So when we're looking for the x-axis, we have to kind of visualize. We have our y-axis, and this is our x-axis. So I'm looking at this horizontal line. So once again, this is our hoi vux. Because it's specifically targeting that x-axis that's horizontal, we're using hoi. So I need a y equals, or this has a y equals, excuse me. But because we're looking for something that is perpendicular, that's going to be opposite reciprocal. It's going to be different. So instead of y equals, we're really going to go ahead and do vux. So it's going to go be x equals, and I'm going to take the x coordinate of my point to make sure it goes through that specific point. All right, good luck. Make sure you ask any questions if you have any questions, and good luck.